Hello, this is Jennetta Billhimer, and I am so excited to be here with Patti Rokus and Melia Rios Lazo. And it is such a pleasure to have them here. They are doing some really amazing things for kids. And in fact, they have two really amazing products. And I wanted them to come on and to talk about these things. And um, I guess, okay, so I'm going to just kind of let you talk about what these things are, these amazing things, and then just kind of how they came about. So first of all, why have you created products for kids? And why are you so passionate about this?
Well, thanks for bringing us on. We're super excited to be on your podcast and
Thank
grateful
you.
to get to talk to homeschooling parents, because that's a very special breed of people. Those that are brave enough to take on that level of challenge and love their kids that much, or they'd sacrifice that much. So it's a sacred opportunity when we get to talk to homeschooling parents, because we know of what a big deal that is. And what a beautiful opportunity that is, because we have far more influence over our children when we can be with them that much and influence what their education really is all about, as opposed to just handing it over to somebody else. So congratulations to all the homeschooling parents. And Melia and I have such a passion for children. As a matter of fact, our whole point and purpose, the why we're together, why we are creating products together, is because we are all about unleashing joy in children by helping them know who they really are. And it's when our children stop remembering or they lose track, or when we lose track of who we really are, these divine, powerful beings, then it's easy to succumb to the pressures of the world. But when we can hold on to who we really are and be reminded of that, because it's a constant nourishment, it's a constant thing we have to be reminded of and feed, then we can rise above what's going on, and we can stay in this space of power and passion and energy and keep learning and progressing. So, this often our passions for doing something come because we didn't have it ourselves. And that's my story. When I was a child, I really lost track of who I really was at a very young age. I had all brothers. I had some challenging situations, and I didn't feel loved, and I didn't feel like I was worth anything. And I just slowly was leaking out, my goodness was just like, who am I? And I wasn't able to shine like who I really am. And so coming from that space, and I could tell a bunch of stories about that, but coming from that space as an adult, it was all about the healing and coming forward. And who am I really? And what's life really all about? And what am I supposed to be doing here? And all those questions. And as I started coming through that and realizing who I am, I just knew that if I could get back to the children, if I could go back to who I was as a child and tell her what I know now, she wouldn't have had to be under the weight of all the assumptions that I made back then. I could have been like, oh, that's it, and move forward. So it comes from that space that I want to give that back to the children and help them remember who they are, that I have chosen to create these products that remind kids who they are. And then when I found Melia, or she found me, we came together just this year, where she has the same kind of passion, and she's already been doing this for years. It was a perfect partnership. So I just wanted to say where we're coming from, first of all, and then share with you what are the things we're doing that either just take it on yourselves and go do it yourselves if you love it, or let us partner with you and share some of the things that we have to help you do it as well.
Yeah, I love that, Patti. I'm a mom of 5 kids, and when I was chatting with Patti earlier this year, she had mentioned that she was a singer-songwriter, which I was surprised. I was like, you're also an author? She does rock art and has 2 beautiful books. And so I was just surprised. It's so different, well, and she was in corporate America. So it's all kind of,
Yeah, and then wrote an amazing song for 9/11, and yeah.
Yeah, it's so fun. And what I was really touched with Patti, and when I told her we need to get this to market, was when she sent me her album for kids that she had made 20 years ago and helped kids during 9/11 and foster children. And then it just sat on a shelf. And when I heard it, I was like, the kids need this. There's such power in it. this idea that children are powerful, but the world will tell them otherwise. And if we are not constantly there cheering them on, helping them, but as a parent, sometimes our kids don't listen to us, right? I've got a 6-year-old all the way to an 18-year-old, and all of them totally different personalities. Homeschooled one of them for a time. And just to be able to have somebody come in that my kids now beg for every night, Patti songs. My daughter last night, she's been listening to it for like since April, every night. And she's like, Patti songs. And I'm like, not tonight. The speaker's like not charged. And she's like crying. And I'm like, oh my goodness, Patti,
Yeah, it was
connection, I guess, with our children.
I interrupted you. Say that again.
Just the fact that if we can connect to our children every night, as a parent, it's most important. But when we can connect other resources to help us in our parenting and motherhood, it's a win-win in my book.
Yeah, it really is the whole village concept where we need each other to help each other raise these powerful, beautiful children.
Well, and Melia, go ahead.
Yeah, Melia, talk about Melia's accomplishments for a minute, just so people realize the strength that we have here in this combination.
Well, I mean, okay, so Melia she's a master at creating and innovating and cultivating ideas that can strengthen, the home and the family. And so far, she's been sharing her just on her blog and a successful Etsy store. Is that a lot of fun? And she's also got something huge that is coming out soon. So keep an eye out for that. Not making any announcements yet, but it's coming out soon. And she's also is a co-founder of the Tiny Trunk Tales. And I don't know if you're going to be talking about that today, but just helping children to just gather and to learn how to unlock the power within. And then also something that hasn't been mentioned about Patti is that she's a best-selling children's author of books on pebble and rock art. And so I just want to say that here in the beginning that perhaps you even saw her on the 2021 Children's International broadcast this year, teaching rock art. She has such fun videos I love to watch. They're so cool with her little rocks, and they like move around and they create things. It's so much fun. And like, it's so fun. And then she's a singer-songwriter with online kids nature art lessons during the day and story time and music at night. And that's what Melia was talking about that her daughter loves. But first of all, she was in technology, in a technology career with Microsoft and Nike and others. And then, but then she followed her heart into the woods, and she came out of the woods with a box of just a bucket of ordinary rocks, right? And that she tells extraordinary stories with. So she didn't get to have children of her own, but she keeps finding herself creating products and helping kids to find their own inner strength and wisdom. So together, it sounds like you've just teamed up like in this last year, and they've teamed up to unleash joy for children. And I love that, to help them to discover who they really are. So I think this is so amazing. And so I am really excited to have you here today, and tell us more about about your passion for helping children, because that's really what we're all about here, aren't we, as homeschool moms and others who love children.
Yeah, thank you, Jennetta. You brought in the rock art. So rocks and pebbles. Everybody
Kids
that's listening,
rocks.
Yeah, kids love. Did you love rocks and pebbles when you were a kid? Did you pick them up? Like almost everybody I talked to was like, oh, as a kid, I had a rock collection. There's just something about picking rocks up, and surprised me. My life, as you said, has been about in the technology space, but I did come out of the woods one after one big camping trip with a bucket full of rocks. And when I spilled those rocks out, well, I think I should say first that the reason I went into the woods, I had hit a point. I had just been divorced. My career no longer was satisfying. I knew it was time to do something else, and I didn't know what that was. So I went on a solo camping trip to just like figure it out.
Like,
And
oh, I went
what's
into
next?
the woods, right?
Exactly. And instead of really getting any answers, I just kept finding these beautiful rocks. And I had such a beautiful experience out there by myself in the woods for a couple of weeks. And what I didn't realize was that by letting go and just being in nature, I didn't figure anything out. My brain didn't like solve the problem, but my heart saw these beautiful rocks. My body was moving and feeling energized. And I came out, and a couple months later, I realized, after I had a brand new book deal of all these rock art pictures that were telling the stories of Jesus, like completely out of my wheelhouse, I'm like, oh my gosh, my life changed that moment I went into the woods. And it wasn't because my brain figured it out. It was because my mind and my heart and my body finally got united and all got to participate. And that is a principle that Melia and I have infused into both this rock art online camp for kids, where the kids get to come and learn how to do rock art with their own rocks and pebbles. It's not just about the art. And then the nighttime program, that's the daytime. The nighttime program with Bedtime Power, it's not just about these wonderful stories and songs. All of these things that we've created for kids, they love it because it's fun. But what they don't know, and what the parents know, is that what we're doing is that we're feeding their mind, heart, and body together. We're helping the children align so they can remember who they really are and have joy, release the problems for a time, reset. And all of that is happening while Melia and I are with the kids, giving the parents a chance to sit back and reset and not have to be part of what we're doing if they don't want to be. So it's kind of like an all holistic, inclusive experience where the parents get their space, the kids get their space to reset, and everybody gets to come back more whole and complete to what you're trying to accomplish at home.
So you've been asking me for this to know what to do, right? Just talking to my group here, you've been asking me, what do I do to get some time for myself? So here is an answer.
Yeah,
it's awesome. Can I just say, like, the nighttime one, my kids run through bedtime routine, and we have a fun little clock that you guys can use if you want to incorporate that. But they run through it because they want to get to Patti's songs. They want to get to the music. And it's almost an hour long. So just think, you can up your bedtime a little earlier, get your kids to bed, and then an hour, by the time they're done, they're usually sleeping within that hour time. They're falling asleep. But I can know that I can go and like re-energize myself, right? Just have a moment. We love our children. I'm not saying we shouldn't be with them.
No,
we all
I
need a
love
break
being with my
and
kids.
Yeah,
By the end of the day though, I'm like, okay, time to switch gears. I need time to like just to breathe. Yes.
Yeah. So it's for me, it's been really powerful to know that I'm not neglecting my kids. I'm not putting them in front of a movie at night so that I can go do my thing. I'm actually empowering them. I'm infusing them with Patti's so amazing, and her building up the children. You're wonderful. You're marvelous. So they're hearing this every night, all these positive affirmations. And then she's singing them to sleep, and they're breathing and they're stretching. And then they're going on this imagination meadows with Mr. Rabbit. And like, my daughter loves it. If I try to like scoot it forward because I need my phone that night because the speaker didn't work or something, Mom, you can't fast forward it. Don't push play. You gotta wait till I'm in bed. You know, she's so excited for it. And I love the fact that we were able to nurture the children, yet give the parents a guilt-free time to just be whatever they want to recharge.
So what ages is this for? Are your products here for?
I would say like 3 to 11, but Patti, you've had people like listen to your CD in college, like doctors, right?
Well, remember this was made 20 years ago and only given out to the 3,000 families that were directly affected by 9/11. So those all got donated and given to those families, plus the Dr. Laura Schlesinger Foundation had them for her kids too. So that's the only people in the world that got this. And then it just went on the shelf, like Melia said. We brought it back. But I've been in touch with some of those people that had it back then, just to see if they remember their experience. And I was so surprised that one of the girls that I found, she has taken that CD into medical school with her through college, and she still listens to it when she needs to de-stress and just settle down. I was completely floored. And during this time when it went out to the kids, I got a lot of letters back from families, and even teenagers were listening to it, which I made it for the younger children. But I think because we all need to hear that we're okay, that things are going to be okay, that we are filled with light, that we can release the darkness. There's deep breathing moments in there in between the songs and stories, and there's stretching in your bed, stretch as tall as a telephone pole in your bed. They're letting go some of this extra energy. And then all of the affirmations along with the guided visualization. And then I've got these sweet songs in between that are also building them up. So it's an hour long of strengthening a person. So when I had one mother write in and said she won't get out of bed in the morning until she listens to Patti because it gives her self-confidence to get going. I was like, oh, I had no idea that it would be like that. And I think that's when Melia, that still was on the side, and Melia heard it. And she was like, Patti, we can't go do this other thing, this cool thing we want to do. We got to get this going first because it's done. Let's get this to people. And so she added the bedtime routine to this clock that you can download and add the kids' faces to the hands so that they do the whole routine by themselves. This beautiful poster. I wish I had one right here. It's a fine art poster with affirmations on it that you can read with the kids, just short, I'm loved, I'm beautiful, I'm powerful. That's on this poster. Melia added all these extra things to the whole product. So you get this entire
amazing team.
Experience. Yeah, it's a very cool team. But just for $20, you get that entire experience. And then the kids listen to it for a long time.
Well, I was reading your story about how this came about for 9/11, like how you were able to write this. Do we have a moment here that you could tell us about that really fast? Because it's really an amazing story.
It is an amazing story. Okay, I'm going to try to do it super succinctly.
Are you at Nike at the time or what?
That's right. I was working for Nike and in technology, and it was a great career. I'm in my early 30s, and things were launching for me. But my whole life I've written music, and that's my deeper passion, is writing music. And so I just had this angst in me. It was like, I have got to get my music out there. And so I quit my job, much to the chagrin of my family. It was like, what are you doing? I quit my job. And in my little bedroom, I set up a bedroom music studio with a stack of manuals to understand all the technology 20 years ago and how I was going to do this. And while I was just starting to I don't know what I'm going to record, I don't even have the set up yet. There was a service project in Portland, Oregon, where all the interfaith, all the different religions, we came together because there was a serious problem to solve. And that was the foster care kids were called garbage bag kids, because people would just give them a garbage bag when they go from home to home with their stuff in. It was a terrible way to refer to them. And it was evidence that, there was just more that needs to be done to serve and love this community of kids. And so we all came together to sew duffel bags that they could put their stuff in. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting there sewing with 1,000 other volunteers in the Portland Coliseum, just a week after I quit Nike. And I'm sewing these bags, and I'm thinking, really? This is all we could do for these kids, is give them a bag that we sewed? Surely we could do more. And right then, have you ever had one of those lightning bolts just crash through you when something is supposed to be so? Just in that moment.
I hear from people who want to have that moment.
Well, I haven't had too many of those. But in this moment, tears just jumped out of my eyes, just tingles everywhere. And I knew, oh my gosh, the reason I quit my job was to write a CD for these kids, to have a constant feminine voice go from them from home to home that tells them who they are, that they're powerful, they're loved, they can do this. They have a mission in life. They're not their experiences, they're not their past. And then to sing it in songs and do it I had been studying visualization work. I'd been studying yoga and different mindfulness techniques. I had all this under my belt for my own healing. And now I was ready to give it to them, and I was going to give it all to them in the CD. And I came home and wrote half the CD that night when I got home. Well, that whole week. It took the week to iron it out, but half of it, I still had to record it. I still had to figure out how to use the equipment. There was a lot of work.
Read your books.
The
Back
power,
20 years ago.
yeah, exactly. That was hard technology, but the power of being inspired, the power of being on purpose, the power of letting heaven and all the energy come in and combine inside of you to manifest something, that happened for me. And that's how this was born. And then I had no idea that a year later 9/11 would happen. And it was not just for the foster care kids, it was for 9/11. And then it was for any time anybody was feeling down and needed some extra uplift. So I probably took too long telling that story, but that's how it was born.
Well, you have to say, like, the coincidence and the fact that you worked on it for a year because the technology, and you sent it to the manufacturers to burn the CDs the morning 9/11 happened.
Okay.
It's not a coincidence, and it's not a coincidence that 20 years later on the anniversary we're bringing this back. So
okay, thank you for bringing the most important parts of the story together. I mean, if you didn't catch that, literally the day it was at the manufacturer to be printed, not for 9/11 because it hadn't happened, right? The day I woke up that morning, so excited, my CD's finally being printed. And my roommate says, Patti, you've got to turn on the TV and see what just happened. And the Twin Towers had just been hit. And so I was able to call the manufacturer where everybody's stunned and shocked. And I'm like, you have got to print another 1,000 or 3,000 of those CDs and get them to those families that just got hit by 9/11. And they did. And then it was another set of miracles of how it all got distributed. So, and then 20 years later, like Melia just said, we meet, it's the anniversary, and we bring it back on the 20th year anniversary.
Wow. Like way to be out there and be and following what you've been told to do, right? So that you were in the right place at the right time and your CDs were in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, we're not in charge. All we do is the best we can do with what we have. And then something much bigger than us comes in and uses us and makes things happen. Yeah, I didn't have much to do with much of that, except for to be a vessel.
Well, and kids need these things so much.
They need them. Every kid needs them. And we hope that people will go to bedtimepower.com. That's our website, bedtimepower.com.
We can link that below on the video.
Yeah, and there's a 1-minute trailer right there where you can listen to little snippets of the whole thing. You'll just totally get a sense of what this thing is, and you'll feel if this is going to serve your family and your children. And I mean, for less than like a week's worth of like lattes, you can get this thing that your kid is going to love for a long time. So we hope you go there.
Give up the lattes at least for a week.
Well, I think what's so powerful is that we know you all are homeschooling because you have a desire. I mean, I don't know your whys. We all have different whys. I had my why.
Sometimes just following, we know we're supposed to, right?
Yeah. And I had a son that struggled in school. My oldest had ADHD, and later on we found out he had a whole bunch of other health issues that were causing symptoms of ADHD. And so for a time, I needed to pull him out. And I needed to, instead of him being put in the hallway because he was fidgeting and moving around, he needed to come home and build himself back up. And I think that's why I'm so passionate about it and wish I had these resources when my son is younger. Now he's in college. But had I had these resources younger, to have somebody that was not his mom, who a lot of times our kids tune us out, right? But somebody else with a feminine voice and an excitement and love for children can come in, like a Mr. Rogers, right? How many of us grew up with Mr. Rogers and just loved his kindness, that could infuse this joy, this self-worth in a child at a time where they're most receptive to hear, which is at bedtime, when their brains are starting to calm down, and they can soak that in before they go off to sleep, and before, they always say be careful what you read and listen to right before you go to bed, to set
and what
you
you
up.
think about, and that's a good time to do a vision board.
Yes.
And affirmations.
Yes, that's so important and critical, and why we're just so excited to share it with you. And so thank you so much for letting us share.
Oh, thank you for being here and telling us about this.
Can we take just a moment to let your audience know about the Rock Art Camp?
Yes, please do.
Melia, do you want to describe what that is?
Sure. So you're probably wondering, okay, why are you have singing time and rock art, and like these sound like totally different things. But just bear with me for a moment. Our mission is just to help infuse joy in children and to help them come to know who they are through two different things. One's a daytime program, one's a nighttime program. They both have songs. They both have mindfulness. Both have stories. It's just in a different way. So during the day where the kids are awake and alive, we're going to take them through a rock art camp. They're going to learn how to make birds and families and cats and dogs. And then we're going to teach them how to create love at home. What's the golden rule? And we're going to give them some challenges on how to do that. And then we sing. Patty I was at her house when we were recording stuff, and she wakes up and she's like, oh yeah, I have a new song. Good morning. Good morning. Ostrich like a kitty. I mean, she's just like light up, so excited.
Makes it up on the spot?
Yes.
Wow.
And so there's songs, and so they're both doing the same thing. They're both building up children, but one's doing it in the daytime to give you a break or to incorporate in your homeschooling curriculum, you know, because we're teaching them a hobby. It's art. It's being creative. We also have service activities they're going to learn. We talk about do not be afraid. Don't be a scaredy cat, and letting their light shine with glow sticks. And so we do all of these things during the day. And that night they have this great calming. So they are companion to each other, but they appear to be totally separate, but they're under the same umbrella of just infusing joy in children. So the Rock Art Camp, you can go to rockartcamp.com and sign up. It's so much fun. Patty and I love it was so much fun to create. And there's a lot of great content for your children to just really enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah. We had the Rock Art Camp as a 39 video. So for 39 days, you could do Rock Art Camp. And then we decided, you know what, that might be a little overwhelming. So we just recently broke it down because we do make rock kitty cats and rock puppy dogs and rock birdies and rock families. So we broke it into 4 different camps so that if you wanted your child to do a video a day for a week, well, there's a whole camp there that they can just do it for a week, or you could spread it out all month if you wanted to. And then try it out. It's only right now, the introductory price is only $20 for that whole Rock Art Camp. And you can do that with all your kids for that $20 if you wanted. And then if you love it, well, then go make cats too, and go make dogs. And then we'll have others that are coming online soon as well.
Oh, fun. Kids would just want to hurry and get things done that maybe were, get the math done or whatever. And so that they could hurry and get to their Rock Art Camp.
Yeah,
exactly.
What I love about these two things is my kids are so excited for them. So I have to show you. Okay, so this is one of our gifting ideas, and I've never showed anybody else this, but I'm going to show you. My kids have been begging for this. So this is like the gift for like grandma to do it with her kids, like, something fun. Every day my daughter's like, when are we starting Rock Art Camp? When do I get to start? And when do I get to have fun? And just like at nighttime, they rush to their bedtime routine to get to sleep. Okay, how many of you kids love to rush to bed?
Not too many kids, right?
It totally happens. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so that gift basket that you just showed are all things that relate to doing Rock Art Camp. And you, Melia, created that gift basket, but that was all part of how you could gift Rock Art Camp to somebody. You can create this cool basket and then give them our certificate to go online and do the Rock Art Camp. That was a neat idea.
How do you get this gift basket?
It's just an idea. I'll just share the idea of what I put in, and you can go heart. Like, this is such a great Christmas gift. And so, like, I know it's a lot of stuff, but you know what? It was like $20. And for all this stuff, so instead of just
too much, usually,
well, yeah, everybody's looking for experiences,
crystals.
Yeah, and this is just the perfect thing. So there's a inside where you can purchase. There's a gifting idea, and these are just things you guys can put in how much you want or not. It's just a fun idea. My kid, every day she walks in here, Mom, when do I get to start Rock Art Camp? After I photograph it, you gotta wait. So excited to dig in. So it's just fun. It's just fun. I mean, we are here on earth to have happiness. And sometimes life could be a big stressor, especially right now. And so if we can infuse that joy that comes natural to kids and facilitate that desire to create then to me is just such a great way to empower our children.
Yeah. So we'll give you some links where the people, anybody that's listening, like if you go to rockartcamp.com, you can see examples of the rock art. And Melia and I explain the camp and you talk about the mindfulness as well as the art lessons. So you can just watch the videos and see what we're all about.
Yeah.
If
They're really fun videos of the rocks moving all over the place and all these fun things.
Thanks. Yeah, we call it Rockmation instead of Claymation. Rockmation, where I've animated the rocks, and
oh yeah,
it's kind of fun.
So fun. Awesome.
Well, I thank you so much for coming on and telling us about these products, and about your motivation for creating them. And I just think it's going to help. You know, these things have already helped so many people. And I'm just excited for everything that you're doing. And so, you know, if you are looking for something for a great Christmas gift, there's not a lot of time left until Christmas. So I really suggest that you go in and look at into their website, and rockartcamp.com, is that what it is?
That's right.
And check into that. So, well, Patti and Melia, thank you so much for being here today. I've had such a fun time talking with you. And I wish you the best, in all of your endeavors. And I encourage everyone to go check it out.
So, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.